Welcome to the Healthy Habits for Active Aging podcast with your hosts, physical therapists Dr. Michael Gorman and Dr. Lauren Bennett. This podcast will discuss a variety of health-related topics focused on educating the aging adult, allowing for an active lifestyle no matter the age. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, and share. Enjoy the show.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Healthy Habits for Active Aging podcast. I am so excited today. Well, first of all, my name is Dr. Michael Gorman. I'm your host today. And this is going to be a great podcast. I'm very excited because I actually have a patient of mine that was so gracious to give us some of her time because she's going to be telling us her TMJ story. And if you recall, this is the third of 3 episodes of talking specifically about TMJ pain. So I want you guys to meet Brittne. Brittne, welcome aboard.
Hi, thank you so much. Glad to be here.
All right, thank you so much. And I specifically asked you the other day if you would be so kind as to be a guest on our podcast because I knew we were going to be talking about TMJ, and it's millions of people in the United States have TMJ pain, but so many people don't know really what direction to go. And you have what I think is a pretty tremendous story, and I wanted you so grateful for you for sharing that today. So thank you.
Yeah.
We have some questions today for you. First of all, how did this all start? Like when did you start having TMJ pain?
Yeah. It's an interesting question because I don't know that I've ever really thought about it. Like, it's just something that's always been there. And it's not like I can pinpoint this moment in time that this is when it all started. I feel like pretty much my whole life I've had the jaw clicking and, certain things that I would eat would kind of like maybe give me a headache or send me into some sort of, spiral of pain or something like that. Definitely in my adult life, I can remember it more. And it's also hereditary in my family. Like almost all my aunts and uncles, like lots of people in my family have it. And so, and I know it is hereditary. I know it is. So I think it's just kind of like I was doomed from the start. But definitely I would say in the last like 15 years, it's been the most noticeable again, like in my adult life.
Wow. Okay. And
Yeah.
so what did your symptoms, I know that's been a long time ago, but do you recall like what it started? Like where did you start having pain? And then what, as the years have gone on, because it's been years now, like what has it evolved into?
Yeah. So I think it's tricky because I would always have this pain and it would kind of just be, I would eat something and my jaw would kind of hurt. And like I said, I would have the popping and stuff like that. And I was one of those people that, in high school, I did not get my wisdom teeth taken out. And so anytime I would complain about it, even to my parents or whatever, it was always like, oh, it's your wisdom teeth. Oh, it's your wisdom teeth. Like that was just always the default answer because I think it was something easy to maybe blame it on or something. And then I finally, at the age of 32 years old, went and got my wisdom teeth out and it was still there. And it was kind of like, okay, it's not my wisdom teeth. And so that's what kind of brought me to you and, all of that. But yeah, it was just over time, the pain was getting worse. Like it turned into like every once in a while or certain things I ate to every morning I would kind of wake up and it was just this dull ache in my jaw all the time. Sometimes it would be like, sudden sharp, just like pains. It's very hard to explain. If someone's listening and they obviously have it, they're going to be like, yes, I know exactly what you mean. A lot of times it would almost even feel like an earache. Okay. So yeah, just over time it just got worse and worse. So
like, do you feel like as the years went on, do you feel like the pain started to spread more to different areas?
Yes, I would say, but mostly in the last couple years, that's what started happening. It was definitely always a headache, jaw situation for years and years. And then, yeah, probably in the last couple years, it started spreading more down my neck, my back. I would get, back spasms and kind of my middle back, and it was always all on my left side. I would even sometimes have like some hip pain. It would like shoot down my leg, my arm. Like it was just that whole left side of my body was out of whack. I could tell.
How
So
did you, you know, I've never really had chronic pain of my own, but I always think this question, like, how did you just cope with that? Did you just think that's just the way it was going to be your whole life?
yeah,
Or really?
literally that's literally how I thought I was going to live for the
Mm,
rest of my life.
mm,
It was
mm,
just
mm.
to the point where I was like, this is my normal. It's like this is just how I feel on a normal basis. And I just learned to cope with it. I mean, some days it would be unbearable to where I would have to not go do things because it was just, like debilitating. But other times I could, mend it with some ibuprofen or, something like that. But yeah, I was very much in that mindset of, well, I guess this is just how I'm going to live my life unless I break my jaw and they reset it. Because I think when you Google things, that's what they tell you. They're like, oh, we
Right.
have to break your jaw and, all this. And I was like, well, that's not going to happen. So I was very much just going to live with it.
Oh my goodness. So okay, so you've had this for years, and then I know you got your wisdom teeth pulled. Was it last year or when was it?
It wasn't that long ago, I will say. I didn't give it much time. It was actually in October of 2022.
Okay. Now,
So
had you before that, had you sought out any prior treatment, whether it be therapy, chiropractic, what else had you done, or had you truly just kind of lived with this for last like 15 years?
so I basically just lived with it. Like my treatment plan was 4 ibuprofen in the morning if it was that bad. Like that's what I did. However, I want to say maybe, oh gosh, 6 or 7 years ago, I went to the dentist, and I actually went because I was like, I need to get my wisdom teeth out, right? And because I was having all this pain and everything, and the dentist, a different dentist than I go to now, lived in a different area at the time, but
Hmm.
he was like, it's not your wisdom teeth, you have jaw issues, you need a night guard. And I was like, I don't believe you. Like, I've been told it's my wisdom teeth my whole life. Like, I
Yeah.
didn't, I wouldn't really say that to him, but in my mind, I was just like, oh, this is a money trap. He just wants to, whatever.
Right.
And so I paid the $800 or whatever to get the night guard and wore it for, I don't know, a couple months, and it did absolutely nothing for me. So yeah, I don't know if that means anything, but that wasn't solving my problem. But
Yeah.
either way, that's the only quote treatment that I've
Wow.
ever done.
Yeah, and I've seen sometimes where a night guard helps and sometimes not. I think it's a real kind of random hit and miss thing to be honest. So, wow, okay, so you're a young person and you were just kind of dealing with this. So really mostly in your 20s you were living with pain,
Yep.
perhaps not every single day, but I'm sure every week you had things going on.
Oh, absolutely. It sounds ridiculous when I say it out loud now, but it almost kind of like became a joke with my friends and stuff because I was always constantly like pressing on my face and
Yeah.
like just like rubbing it, or I guess I would say a lot, oh, my jaw hurts. Like I guess I would say it out loud a lot. I didn't realize I was, but everyone's like, we get it, we get it. Like, you know what I mean? Like it almost became this joke, and I'm like, guys, no, you don't understand, I guess, because this is a real thing that is happening to me.
Right, right.
So,
So, um, so full transparency here.
yeah,
So I have been treating you the other day when I saw I was visit number 6, and that's
yeah,
probably over 3.5 weeks or so. And when I first saw you, you had pretty good range of motion of your jaw. I mean, like you could open it pretty well. It wasn't the most symmetrical, like even opening. You could open, but the amount of just muscle tenderness and tightness you had inside, especially on the left side of your mouth. But then the radiating symptoms, your symptoms into your neck, into your shoulder, into your arm, into your shoulder blade, it was and up into side of your head, headaches and all the muscle tightness you had. People don't think about it, but you've got a big muscle on the side of your head that when we have TMJ pain or neck pain, this almost always wants to tighten down and go into spasm. So I was amazed by how many symptoms you had and how you've just been kind of coping with this. I felt really bad for you. So I'm so glad that I came into your life at
Yeah.
that point in time. But like I would want to know, like, so I've seen you 6 times. We've done a variety of treatment that we've talked about in the past 2 podcast episodes that Dr. Lauren Bennett and I did. But what do you think like has been the biggest game changer for you from I don't know, I guess a treatment standpoint? We've done a couple
Yeah.
different things, but
Yeah. Well, just to kind of like even go back a little bit of what was my breaking point, I think, because I think that's what got me, to this place is that, like I said, I got my wisdom teeth out and then that healed. I went back to the dentist, a different dentist, and I was like, okay, my wisdom teeth are out. I'm still having this jaw pain. Like, what can we do? And he immediately said night guard. And I was just like, oh no, oh no. Like, I've already been down this path. Like,
right.
I need an actual resolution here. Like, it was to the point where I was like crying and waking up every single day, and I was just like, I can't live like this anymore. Like, it was just to that point. And so that's when he recommended, the physical therapy or chiropractic. And so I, reached out to you or whatever. And even I was shocked to learn all of the symptoms I had, like when you actually say them out loud, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And then whenever you mentioned the dry needling and, accessing those trigger points on the other parts of my body that weren't necessarily my jaw, I was kind of like, huh, okay, that's kind of weird, but sure, we'll try it. And I mean, it's literally changed my life at this point. Like, I'll almost even feel something. I'm like, oh, I need him to do, I feel a trigger point. Like, it's like I'm identifying it now.
Yeah.
But I would say the dry needling 100%, like in the neck, shoulder blade area has been the game changer. Not even necessarily like, all of the other, exercises that I would do with my jaw specifically.
Mhm.
Like, those are great, but like you said, I had pretty good range of motion and stuff like that. So, yeah, the dry needling 100% did it for me.
And that's something that if people have listened to our last 2 podcasts, we talked about a variety of different treatments. Actually, we didn't talk about dry needling because, and I guess I sort of held off on talking about it because, so I'm going through my dry needling training now. With each course you take, you learn different body part areas that you can actually needle. So I'm not to the point yet where I've learned how to dry needle muscles of the around the TMJ. So we didn't actually dry needle your TMJ, but we did a lot of dry needling of your shoulder, neck area, things of that sort, because that refers pain to your TMJ, pain in the TMJ refers down, it refers up. It's just crazy symptoms. So we had to kind of break that pain cycle. And you had so many different real irritable trigger point areas. And when we would needle those areas, I can specifically recall we needle a muscle in your neck, and all of a sudden you go, yep, that's my headaches. And
Yeah.
it was not only left side, it was going across the other side. And so yeah, that's been really a game changer for you. And I'm looking forward to in a couple months, I'll be able to actually dry needle TMJ area, and that will be a game changer as well. But well, I'm glad. I'm so glad that that's been helpful for you. And I feel like each time that we do needle you, it's kind of like less responsive.
Hmm.
It's not as dramatic of symptoms that you feel, but you were getting symptoms I can recall in your arm, and when we would dry needle maybe a muscle in the shoulder, boom, there
Yeah.
came your arm pain. So I knew that we were doing the right thing for you.
Yeah. Well, and I remember, the first time we did the dry needling, I think you did like 5 to 7 different trigger points. And now we're down to where you can maybe only even find 1 to 2.
You're right. You're right.
So I mean, there's definitely, it's wild to me that we've only been doing this for like 4 weeks, because it's just mind blowing that it's been this dramatic of a change that
Yeah.
quickly.
Well, I mean, tell me, like, if you could just tell our audience, like, how is your life today compared to like 1 month ago before we even met?
Yeah, definitely. It's almost like the anxiety of waking up and wondering how I was going to feel that day has kind of been lifted from me. And I can still feel my mind almost go into that place of like panic and, oh my gosh, do I have a headache? Is my jaw okay? Like I'll wake up and literally kind of open my mouth and like be like, does it hurt? Or, because I'm just so used to that. So, I definitely went from waking up every day and automatically being in pain, having to like take some ibuprofen or some medicine, or be like, oh, I guess I'm just gonna like have a headache all day today and deal with it, and just not really knowing what my quality of life was going to be, to the point I would have to cancel plans, like I said, and just, really be debilitated for the day. And now it's the other way around. I wake up and I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel great. I can just do whatever. It's not going to like interfere with my life or my day or my plans. And it's just been, I mean, like full transparency, like even before, like if I would drink alcohol, the next day was just a no-go for me. Like I was out for the count. Like there was no question about it. And I drank on Friday night and I drank last night, and I'm completely fine. And that is unheard of.
Right.
So I can just tell that it's just a completely different experience when I
Your
wake up.
body is so less inflamed now than it was.
Yeah.
It's so much stronger than it was. So, when we drink alcohol and things like that, I mean, your body's able to withstand that so much better. So,
Yeah.
wow, that's great. Well, um, again, thank you so much, because it's one thing for Lauren and I to get on this podcast and talk about the things we do, but when we can hear it directly from a patient we've treated, the impact it can have. Again, there's millions of people that have TMJ pain out there that, just like you, struggled for so long, because there's probably a lack of quality treatment out there for TMJ, or no one really wants to treat it, so they just kind of, I don't know. There's so much, but what would be great, and if you're willing to, and I understand if you're not, but I want people, like we always invite people in our audience to email us if they have questions, but like I would like for them, if they have a question for someone like you that's actually been through all this, and like what did you feel? Because I think you personally and your
Mhm.
story, you can help hundreds and thousands of people out there that are struggling. Do you mind just sharing a way that someone, whether it be on social, however, that they can just contact you, and that way, again, you can share your story directly
Yeah.
with them?
Yeah, absolutely. Instagram is probably the best way to reach me. Just slide into my DMs, if you will. So my Instagram handle is BRITTLEELO. So Brittly Low is what it is. But yeah, so message me there. There's lots of other symptoms I feel like I didn't even touch on. Like kind of forgot, like I had a lot of swelling in my face, and so there was a lot of other things that I just kind of realized I didn't even really say. So yeah, so happy to talk to people, talk about my experience, and hopefully help some people out, because I didn't really have anyone to help me until I was at my breaking point. So
Yeah, well,
definitely.
thank you again. I mean, this is so cool, and I know you're going to help a lot of people out there, just sharing your story. So I hope you have a wonderful day, Brittany, and I look forward to seeing you again. I probably, honestly, treatment wise, we're probably getting near the end.
Yeah.
And and I think you said something last time. Do you think, like, if this flares up again, do you think I can reach out to you? And the answer is absolutely yes, because the reality is that when we have chronic pain, it's not uncommon for it to kind of rear its ugly head again, because it's the you can't separate the mind from the body, and the mind has so much to do with it. And so there's a good chance it's going to flare up again, but now when it does flare up, you're not going to wait 6 months. I mean, you're going to attack the problem immediately, and you're going to reach out to me. I'm going to come back and see you, and we're going to get this taken care of. So you won't have to deal with this your whole life, and for months at a time. So
Yeah,
I think that's,
absolutely.
yeah, well, okay. Well, hey, thank you. I won't take any more of your time, but have a great day. And thank you again for sharing your story with our audience.
All right. Yeah, you're very welcome, and have a good one.
Thank you so much, everyone. Please tune in next week for our next edition. I have a feeling Next series we're going to be talking about is going to be about dry needling and what it can do for you. So, all right, have a great week. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Healthy Habits for Active Aging podcast. If you have any questions for Dr. Gorman or Dr. Bennett, please send an email to info@imovephysicaltherapy.com. To learn more about healthy aging, visit our website at imovephysicaltherapy.com. Like what you hear? Be sure to rate and subscribe. See you next week.